I started 11 years ago, right where you're sitting. I'm an expert in creative finance, love creative finance, talk your face off about that and all the wonderful things with that. Mindset and raising private capital. Buy, sell, trade, anything like that.
I'm also a buy and hold investor of 50 properties. I have good software. I have a good team.
I could go back in time and teach myself anything, guys. Learn to raise more money. Whatever you're trying to do, more money will solve your problem. So I would say that everything, in the end, it starts with mindset. We can manifest anything we want in the world. It starts with your mindset.
I'll give you even a better one, much better one. It's how many ways can I do this? How many ways can I accomplish that? How many ways can I reach that goal? And then the last one, my word of the year is who and not how. Make life easier. Pave the way for your success. Everybody, work together, and you're going to get your goals met in 2023 by helping others at the same time. Wow. Hey, 2023 and 24 and beyond. And beyond, everyone. Hey, welcome. Happy Monday, Mindset Monday, making the best of everything. Hopefully, you're having a great start to your week already. If not, hopefully this will make it even a little bit better. Heck yeah, let's do this. So we're streaming in our private group, Zero to Infinity, as well as on my Facebook page, because I want to let other people know about what it is to be a real estate investor, an entrepreneur in today's society. My gosh. So if you don't know me, I'm Zac Hoyt. I'm a real estate investor. There's some fun little tidbits about me on that. It's a little outdated because that was last year's video, but that's all right. Sometimes we don't make things as perfect as we want them to be in life. Sometimes we fail a little bit or fail horribly at what we're doing. You guys ever just absolutely flop on your face in some of your goals? Some of your just daily lives. I mean, I have a 4-month-old, and I feel like we might flop on our face more often than not now. But it's just being okay with that, right? Failing forward in life. So yeah, so feel free to chat in the box, just smash in some comments, anything, questions that you might have as we go through all of this. And I'll be able to bring some people's comments up, answer them, and hopefully you guys will get and leave in this mindset that's going to be a little bit more empowering, a little bit more growth oriented. Because I know as an entrepreneur, and I've been doing this, and I was an entrepreneur since I was 8 years old. I had my first tax number and DBA. So I have just always been driven to do things intrinsically through myself. But because of that, we often hit roadblocks. You guys ever hit roadblocks in life? What you're trying to do something, what do you do in those moments? Do you lay down? Do you say, woe is me? Do you get up? Do you go even harder afterwards? I mean, and this isn't, this is a very fluid thing because these things probably happen quite often, right? We're always striving to do more in life. And the more we strive to do, the bigger challenges we end up facing. Are we capable to take on those challenges, or should we just, pack up and go away because say, oh, it's not meant for us? So I'm going to touch a little bit on that today, but I'm also going to share some pretty intimate things in my life, because I think it's very important for us to be open with each other, to be honest with each other. And you guys will start to learn a little bit more about me, and that my past wasn't so rosy and perfect to get to where things are right now. That's rarely the case in life, right? Is rosy and perfect. So it's going to be very real, guys. So if you don't mind that, just chat in the box and say I'm not perfect, because I'm going to say I'm not perfect to you guys. I'm not perfect. And that was a problem for me growing up, was I was always striving to be perfect in anything that I did. So like, I'm a recovering perfectionist as an engineer. One of these degrees that's on the wall is because I was an engineer. And, it made it harder for me to be an engineer because I was living in this land of I had to think through everything, because if I didn't think through it just right to figure everything out, well, then I could make a mistake. And that could cause big problems for things in engineering land. We had the world's most powerful laser in the world. So it'd be a big problem for that if that thing went the wrong way. But also, it made it so that I tended to overthink everything in life, from dating to real estate, investing, what I should do, just overthinking. So I'll give you some tips and tricks that I have learned along the way, how to deal with these moments of adversity. Yeah, we've got some good comments from here. We learn more from our failures than from our achievements. Yeah, most people do. They really do. You'll look at an achievement today and you'll think, oh, that's cool, but I'm always looking for that next thing. Are you that type of person? Does that resonate with you? Because, it resonates with me. Until we started celebrating our smaller wins, my wife and I will put our wins in a jar and infuse a little crystal in there, but all these little notes in the jar with the date. So at the end of the year, we can read them off to each other and celebrate lots of little wins in life, whether it's the first thing or just a good thing, something we want to manifest. It's a fun little way of celebrating those small wins, because a lot of times they're not small to you. You just think they're small because you've already achieved that and you want to move on to the next thing, which is crazy. But that's how our minds end up working. Favorite quote: I never fail. I succeed at finding what does not work. How about that one? That's a good one. That's funny, right? Yeah. And I would always say that if you aren't failing, then you aren't pushing yourself hard enough. How about that? Because if you're just living in complacency of where you're comfortable, then you're not pushing yourself. So that's not going to really serve you very well either. So some real fun things. If you don't know, I have a Facebook group helping people get their first deal, their next deal. We're doing awesome things in that, not just mind, but also stuff with your body to make sure that you're strong. But your bank account is the main thing, of course, because I'm a real estate investor. So I want to share all those tips and tricks and secrets with you guys. I just usually have my wife on here, Monique, helping with some mindset stuff. Today's not a good day for her to help with that. Things change a little bit with a 4-month-old. So that's cool. Tag team. We'll get things going. Yeah, really fun. So just for starting out, I don't know if you guys know my origin story into real estate, but it started my path into real estate. Yeah, I'd always been interested as a younger kid. You'd have those late night infomercials like make money with real estate. And I remember buying some real cheap book that just sat under my college bed. I remember it just being under that bed and finding it later thinking, wow, I never did anything with this. You guys ever just buy something thinking that you're going to do the thing, but you never actually do the thing? Does that ever happen to you guys? Or is that just me? Am I just the one that goes out and gets all the gym equipment to like go to the gym and then not actually do that? I mean, that's how I used to be. But yeah, lots of real fun things. So after that, it took something monumental in my life to really make a change. Something that's really monumental and really, really affected the rest of my life. And that was getting a divorce. It took me getting a divorce to actually pick up and take assessment on myself to figure out, all right, what is going on? Where do I want to go? What's my bucket list? Like, you need sometimes these events in your life that just really change things up. And so that was a monumental piece of events that happened to me, because it allowed me to change completely everything that I was doing. I was in school, going back to school for architecture at the time, and it was really difficult going through a divorce, feeling alone, dating again, but just, finding myself again and what I wanted to do. So that's one of the things that ended up leading me to this secret that I'm going to share with you guys today. A secret tool that I use daily. And it helps me out in my best of times and in my worst of times. That's the fun thing, is it can really help you in your worst of times. That's what I needed it for. That's what I created it for, was for these worsts of times. And that's why I love it. That's one of the reasons I love it. And that's one of the reasons I want to give it to you guys, is because it is so powerful like that. And so here I am, divorced, running my first marathon because I'm trying to do everything that whole summer. But it's you get all this energy that's through it. And through the divorce, I ended up having my credit destroyed because I had all these debts that were my wife's, that I took on as a loving husband, brought them to me at 0% interest at the time. But then I couldn't pay them because I'm in school and I didn't have any income. I thought, oh, I'll just let this go because I can't pay it. And it's funny because in that moment, after all of that happened, after the divorce, after I had these epiphanies of things I wanted to do with my life, after my credit was destroyed, that's when I found real estate investing. That's when I found real estate investing, was when I had destroyed credit and I had no money at all. So that's one of the things that I love teaching people, is how to do things, yes, as a savvy investor, now that I know all of them, but showing people how to do it with no money and destroyed credit. Because if you have those things, that might be one of your mental blocks, is that how can I do this because I don't have money? How can I do this because I don't have credit? Whether it's real estate or something else, I'm going to tell you that there's ways around it. There's just tons of ways around it. And if you think that buying real estate is easier than whatever you're trying to deal with, then cool. Then you're on my side of the table, because real estate can be really easy buying, whether you have money or no money, or credit or no credit. There's solutions for that. And I'm sharing some of those things with my group now, and I've got real fun things planned for them as well. So if you don't know where my group is, you should be able to find it right under my Facebook profile or in my profile of wherever this is streaming. It's a free group, so come join us. We're doing great things in there. And what else? Besides that, I've got a meetup this week. Anyone who wants to come to our local Ohio real estate meetup, it's this Thursday evening. There should be a link somewhere for all of that on my profiles as well. And I'm always raising capital, teaching people how to deploy their money if they're not making 18%. That's lots of private money partnerships is what I end up doing. So I put my money towards real estate in single family home form, and I like RV parks. So if you're interested in investing in an RV park, that's next. That's tons of fun. So those are all possible, and there's one-on-one consulting, and lots of people can work with me in tons of different ways. But it's real fun to reach a ton of people out there. That's why come to this local meetup that we have, join the group. And there's lots of other fun things that are in the works for all of that. So be prepared. And then I'll give you this at the end of all this too. I'll share that with you, because it's helped me tremendously in some real dark times. And if you thought the divorce was the dark time, we're wrong. We all deal with lots of things in life. Divorce is just what gave me the secret power of being able to buy real estate with no money and destroyed credit. Gave me that drive to do all of that, because I had no choice, and I was empowered by other people that said, "Oh, hey, you can do this." They didn't really teach me the best ways to do it, but through trial and error, failing forward, doing all those things, we're able to get there, right? And you can too. You absolutely can too, because you have more resources available to me nowadays than I had back then. So, you've got tons on YouTube. Everyone else that's out there that's doing great content. I've got some content that's out there as well on my YouTube channel. Check that out. But just having a group where you have access to a real estate investor who's actively doing these things, I love helping the person that I used to be. I love it. It's one of my whys. It's written on this sheet that I have. It's my whys, helping my family and helping others. And guess what? Once you get pretty close to me, you're my family at that point. Like I treat my friends as family because give some more love out into this world. What my parents didn't have in money, they were abundant in love. And so I feel very grateful for that. I always wished that our family had more money growing up. But of course, that would have led to different problems, I'm sure. And it just made me very resourceful as a real estate investor now. So, yeah, awesome, awesome stuff. So, besides having a divorce, you know, it takes you in those low moments, and what do you guys do in those low moments? How do you pick yourself up? Right? Do you have like a friend that you go to that's your go-to person? Like, oh man, this person's really going to uplift me and help me through this. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe there's some techniques that you end up using. I'd be curious to hear, what do you do in those moments when you're feeling really down? And how do you handle that? Do you just wallow? Do you just sit for, until you're feeling better? What do you end up doing? Oh, someone says self-hypnosis. There you go. That's one that you don't hear of every day, right? Yeah. How many ways can we get ourselves into a better mindset? How many ways can we do that? That's awesome. I love that. So I want to share this with you guys in general. It's the notion of a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. I guess I'll zoom in a little bit so that you can see this. But yeah, which side do you guys fall on? Which side do you guys fall on? Want to smash whether you're on the fixed side or the growth side? And it's okay. Trust me. The more honest that you guys are with yourself, that's really the first step in changing how you become who you're going to be. Like, it's your first step of really transforming. And it's really important. We have a saying, energy before action. And it's we gotta do the energy things to help with our mindset before we take the action. Otherwise, we're going to take those things in our head, those limiting beliefs and those fears, and we're going to have them show up in life unexpectedly, you would think. But from some of us that understand this, it's expected because we manifest whatever we think of in this world. But are you a fixed or are you a growth person? Are you avoiding challenges or do you embrace challenges? Yes, nobody likes real challenges in general. We want it all to be easy. But assuming that there's challenges, what do? Do you avoid them completely or do you embrace them and say, I'm chugging forward? How do you feel about criticism? I used to hate constructive criticism, but gosh, I mean, in a collaborative environment, I learned to love criticism. Team thought is so great to get good ideas out there. And sometimes they'll think that their intelligence and their talent is fixed. I can't relate to that. I mean, I just always feel like I am always striving to be more, right? I want to be more to more to more. So notice on this. Yes, I like this. I like this response. This is a real good response. This is an honest response. I really appreciate this response. Yes, it's probably mixed, but there probably are some areas that are still fixed. That's such an honest response. I love that. I love that. Thank you. Probably someone in the group because I can't see your face and no one in the group allows the face to come through. So that's someone who's real and who is already on their journey towards growth and more. So I love that. I love that honesty. But yeah, where are you? Where are you? Do you less effort, more effort? Yeah. Easily gives up, or do you keep trying until you never give up? When I have something that I really want to achieve in life, man, I just will not give up towards that thing. When I ran my first marathon, oh my gosh, It took a lot of faith. It took good people. It took a lot of things, but there's so many times that I could give up. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. You're going to give up on your future, right? Do you have this notion where you are a failure? Unfortunately, is that something that your inner dialogue says? That you're a failure? Because if you hear that to yourself, then that's definitely something that we would want to work on, because that will hold you back. We all fail. That does not mean that you're a failure. We all fail. I got a 4-month-old. He's failing at, lots of things right now. And it's a constant reminder. He can't even walk yet, but he's learning to roll over. He's failing at that. It's not going to stop him. Just because you fail at something does not mean you are a failure. And sometimes you just have to ingrain that into yourselves, because maybe there's people in your life that are telling you that you're a failure. And that's something to adjust as well. Surround yourself by uplifting people. But this is an interesting one. This one here is your ego. Are you threatened by the success of others, or are you inspired by the success of others? And be real. Because I get a little bit of both at times. And that's me listening to my ego. It's like, oh, it's that little voice that's like, oh, but maybe that's not for me. As I keep stretching and reaching towards bigger and bigger things, that little ego inside of me starts to compare and is like, oh, well, they're way up there. Maybe that's not for me right yet. Maybe that's what you guys are thinking as well. Because I quickly try to squash that down and be like, whoa, mind. What are you doing? What are you thinking right there? And you can start to catch yourself in these moments, which is nice. And are you here only you're always failing, or do you learn from your failure? You're failing forward. Like I said, if you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. But of course, yeah, where are you? If this is a very despondent, I give up type of attitude, this is no matter what the world throws at me, I got this. I can handle this. And this side, this growth side, this is more on the side when you have people that are supporting you in life. When you have people that are supporting you and around you and uplifting you and encouraging you, it just makes things a lot better, because we are always going to fail. There's always failures if we want to just look at them. There's failures that are going to end up happening. Like even on days that you want to go to the gym and you don't. Guess what? You could say you failed in that moment. Oh, boo-hoo. Well, you could just lots of things from there. What are you going to do from there? Figure out why that failure happened. Learn from that failure. Maybe you need to go earlier, maybe to do whatever. Maybe there's lots of things, but don't take it as just ultimate failure, the ultimate truth that you are a failure. Reading some comments that are in. Cool. So this is just the basic idea of a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, right? So try and figure out what side of that you fall on, whether it's for the majority or just for a few. And ask yourself why you're there. Maybe what's holding you back? Why is it that you are thinking those things? Is it because that's what you were brought up thinking? That's what your friends, your family might tell you? A lot of this really roots from family dynamics growing up. But we have an opportunity to change all that right now. We have a big opportunity to change all that. Right on. So it's so important to have this growth mindset. If we're living in that right side, that fixed mindset land, man, there's hardly anything that's possible. So that's why I like to start with this, because if you're in that land, then we got to talk about how we can get you out of that land. Because once you're out of that land, then lots of things are possible. Because yes, real estate is going to be challenging. And yes, there's so many levels of real estate. It's going to challenge you. It is something new. Most things new probably challenge you, unless you're an amazing savant at everything you do in life, and then we should talk. But I don't think anyone is really quite like that. That's not reality. So plan for failure to happen. Because if you don't plan for that, well, then, you're going to be utterly surprised. But just plan for failure to happen. Like, what are you going to do when something fails? Oh, I'm going to get right back up. Oh, I'm going to go at it with even more tenacity, right? I'm going to find people that understand this thing better than me. I'm going to figure out what's going on so that next time I won't fail at that thing. But sometimes it takes getting over this fear so that you'll actually take those steps to fail. So many people won't take the steps needed to just fail. They just won't do. They'll just sit in inactivity for so long. And inactivity obviously won't get you your goals, won't change your life, won't change that for your family. Whatever your why is, that's really the end one that was on this thing. The bottom part in this, I don't know if you caught that, but the bottom part is, why should I bother, right? Why should I bother? If you don't know your why in life, what drives you, then you might just ask this. You say, why should I bother? Why should I even bother doing this thing? It sucks. I failed. I'm a failure. I didn't put in much effort, but big deal. Intelligence and talent is fixed. I can't get any better. And I don't like challenges. I just don't like any of that stuff. So why should I even bother? Well, this isn't the side that people in my group tend to live in long, if they do at all, because this will eat you alive. This will absolutely eat you alive. People in my group are all about growing from 0 to infinity, from wherever you are to wherever you want to go. That's what you're going to get. That's what I'm always going to be striving for you guys. It's changing your mind, changing your situation around you, changing your bank account. Yeah, we've got some good ones in here. Ikigai, your purpose in life. Yeah, but something that drives you. Like for me, it's my family and helping others. I absolutely know it. I write it on my sheet I look at every day. I absolutely know it. And it feels good to say. It feels good, meaning not because of how other people will perceive that. It feels good to me when I say it because it's in alignment with myself. It's 100% true with my core, my being. Yeah, we got some excited people. So get some good tips here, some good tools so that we can help you in that, because we're all going to hit a slump. We all probably have hit something in our lives before that was difficult, maybe astronomically difficult. Like for me, it was the marriage that just boom. It's like, okay, now you just have to, now's your opportunity to go and do the thing. So just do it, right? Sometimes we need this thing to happen in life for us to have a shakeup of what our life was, to now realize, all right, I've got an opportunity to change everything. Here's where it's going. And so now let me do things in alignment with where it's going. So where's this moment in your life? And the crazy thing is that any moment can be that moment. This moment could be the moment for you to change things up if you want it to. It's all in our minds. Do you guys realize this? It's all in our minds. 99% of success is mindset. I have it because I'm reading it off of my wall, right? And the other 1% is realizing that it's all about mindset. So much is mindset. The one thing that running a marathon taught me so easily that I love teaching to other people is that whether you think you can or you can't in life, you're right. You're 100% right. Oh no, I can't run a marathon. Guess what? You're right. Someone else says, oh yeah, I could probably run a marathon. Guess what? You're right. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And so do you think that you can be a real estate investor? Smash in the box if you guys think you can be a real estate investor or not. I would love to see that. Hit yes if you think you can. Hit no if you don't. Right? Because if you think you can or you can't, you're right. Do you want to have a better life? Hey, yes. Yeah. Heck yeah. Definitely. Definitely, right? Yes. Absolutely. But if you're feeling a little bit of hesitation with the yes, if you're feeling a little feeling more like a no is in alignment, that no, I can't be a real estate investor, why is that then? Why is that? Look at this one. I like this one. I'm an investor who just doesn't own property yet. Absolutely. Guess what? You don't have to own property, number one, to be an investor. So for sure. But I think what this is more relating to is the mindset of it. Having that mindset of being an investor. Because you want to have that mindset, live in that mindset right now. You don't have to wait until you, whatever, do the thing that makes you think that you're now qualified to be an investor. I never considered myself a runner before I started training for my marathon. In the marathon, I went from 2 miles to 26.2 miles in less than 4 months. But before all that, no, I played football, and gosh, I did not like running. Didn't at all. Definitely wouldn't consider myself a runner. Funny thing is, after running a marathon, I still didn't consider myself a runner. I'd already run a half marathon at that point. I had a 20-mile training run. I ran a marathon. Gosh, it took running multiple marathons, training other people to run a marathon before eventually I could still hear it in the back of my mind when I thought about it, like, oh, Zac, are you a runner? My mind's like, no. Right. And then the logic part of me is looking around like, why the heck does my subconscious think that I'm not a runner? I can do all these things. If I were to ask you guys, ask the world out there, they'd be like, given all this evidence, they'd say, okay, yeah, this dude's a runner. My subconscious didn't have that yet. And that's the frickin' power of mindset, is it can just hold you back, little things like that. And I just wanted, once I noticed that, all of a sudden that I was doing that, I was doing a lot more mindset activities in my day to day. I'm like, why is this coming up like this? Like, yes, I know I'm logically a runner. Maybe I'm not typical runner, but what is that? Big deal. I'm also not like typical runners probably don't run 26 miles. So it's funny how our mind works like that. So that's why Monique and I will help you guys so much. Just be aware. A lot of it is just being aware of the world that's around us, how it affects our mind, how our mind is then affecting our actions, how our actions then dictate our results, and how those results feed right back into our mind. And so, if our mind has this jaded opinion of whether we can be an investor or not, whether we can do something or not, it'll dictate those actions that we take. So we'll take actions that are probably like, oh, well, I'm not really an investor, so I'm not really going to fully do this thing, commit to this thing. And so then the results will be less than. And so then your mind is like, oh, look at that. This thing didn't work out. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm not a real estate investor. Not yet. It's funny how that ends up happening like that. Doesn't have to happen. So running for me, I was short circuiting all of that. Regardless, I was just going to run all those days. Run. Surround myself by other people and good energy and lots of tips and tricks to just get it done. And so I would do it anyway. And so that's one of the things that was actually wonderful about running, is you had to run 3 days a week plus a long run on the weekend. You had to. So there had to be that consistency. As an entrepreneur and being a real estate investor, the problem is it's not so apparent that if I don't take this action every day, can I still get that result? Can I maybe chance upon an awesome deal? I'll find a deal and then I'll be able to buy it. I'll be able to do the thing. Maybe I'll fix and flip it. Maybe I'll own it. Maybe I'll wholesale it, whatever I'm doing. You think that things will just show up to you without doing any of that work. Well, that's not the case, right? I mean, deals come to me now naturally all the time with little work because I'm doing it all the time. I mean, every little thing that I do might not be actively searching for deals, but I do other things that help deals come in. I do other things to basically to put out into the energy in the world that, yes, I'm a real estate investor. You have to put out that energy now, because when you do that, listen, the only one that is questioning it is in your own mind. You put that out into the world, they don't know. They're like, oh, hey, maybe Joe is doing something now. He says that he's a real estate investor now. He's doing that. Must be that must be doing that. Wow. Oh, wow. He's looking like he's buying properties. Oh, he's asking for certain properties. Okay. Well, I'll send him some properties. Oh, now he's looking for private money. Oh, well, I know he's a real estate investor. He told me that. I'll talk to him about some private money. See, it's so funny. We'll take everyone else at their word a lot of the time that's out there. They can just say that they're this thing. Yet for us, it's this convoluted mess in our head. So addressing that first, how many ways can we address that? That's the question. Not can we or can't we? It's how many ways. So that's what I want to give you here. I want to give you some super secret tips, some tools that I have of how many ways we can address that, because I've had to address that in my life. So besides running a marathon, there was another rough time in my life. And it was after I started being a real estate investor. And by the way, being a real estate investor can just mean buying and selling properties too, like wholesaling properties. You're an investor. You know what you're doing. So you don't have to own properties yet. Just so you guys are clear. So it really doesn't take much to be an investor. It takes a mindset, which is a lot. But in general, it doesn't take much for the actions to actually just be an investor. There's no qualification, certification. But in my life, about five years ago, I really don't remember, which is cool in its own right once you realize what's happening. About 5 years ago, I was up real late at night working with, 4 screens like I do now. I'm staring at my spreadsheets really close, like really, really close, looking at everything, looking at some portfolio I'm analyzing, trying to buy it, structuring it with no money down and destroyed credit because, that's what I have. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, about 11 at night, all of a sudden, everything I look at goes double. My vision goes double. My fingers, I'm typing, all of a sudden I can't move them. Thinking, what in the heck is going on? Vision double, doing that. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of getting a little wore out here. I end up sitting down, watching some TV, waiting for this thing to go back to normal. Doesn't go back to normal. My vision is double. You guys ever have your vision all of a sudden, cross your eyes, but it doesn't stop? So I Google it and it says, oh, you could be having a stroke right now. You could be having a stroke. And seconds matter as opposed to minutes. So stop thinking about it. You should go to the hospital. I'm like, oh God. I don't know what a stroke is, but that's bad. So I get to the hospital because I end up calling 911. They end up coming. Of course, I end up going and brushing my teeth first and putting on some comfy pants, because who the heck likes to go to the hospital and sit there forever with stank breath and, uncomfortable pants on? But seconds matter, according to WebMD, with a stroke. So I go there. They run this CT scan on me. They check all this stuff out. I'm there the whole darn night awake. And in the end, they're like, we don't know. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on. But you're free to go. I'm like, I'm free to go. I'm walking down the hallway and I'm seeing double. Everything is still double. Everything is double. I'm like, oh my gosh, this isn't safe to drive. I get my friend to pick me up and, trying to figure out what's going on. She ends up getting me to the Cleveland clinic, getting admitted to be like, what the heck is this? What, And so it took a couple days. And in the middle of the night, one day, they slap this binder on my desk and it says, "Welcome to having a stroke." It's funny because I found it downstairs recently in all my files. "Welcome to having a stroke." So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I've heard of bad bedside manner, but this is just like lazy at this point, right? I mean, what the heck? They drop it on me. Here's a stroke. The crazy thing is the next morning, they end up pulling that binder away. They're like, "Ooh, sorry. We actually don't think it's that. That was a mistake." And I'm like, wow, even worse bedside manner, right? Like, what is going on? Guys ever feel like you don't know what's going on? Maybe you're a little more of the control side of things and you just want to, control what's going on. You don't know. So I had no clue, but I'm just a little panicking in those moments where I'm in the hospital for days as they're running these tests on me, trying to figure out what's up. So eventually they do these fun things where they puncture my lumbar, like in my spine, my lower back, pop through there to get some cerebral spinal fluid and test that. Yeah, feels just as great as you think it does. Horrible. Horrible. So, yeah, popping around by my spinal cord nerves. So they test that, comes back, ends up, I am diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, MS. I don't know if you guys have anyone that you know that has been diagnosed with MS, but I was diagnosed with MS 5 years ago. And it's interesting. So even though I was doing all these real estate investor things, feeling all good about my life in those moments, right? Analyzing all of those portfolios, couldn't wait to take down this big portfolio, structure it without any money of my own, buy a bunch of properties at once. All of that kind of came crashing down because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have MS. Do a little Google on it and they don't know what causes it. They don't know how to cure it. It's just this thing that tends to be making people less and less mobile and less functioning as life goes on. So for me, I thought, wow, that's really heavy. That's really, that's really rough. It was a little harder than a divorce. So it was a little rough dealing with those notions and like feeling my worth at that point. It's almost like I felt like I was already dead. Like, why would anyone want to date me, hang out, should I even think about future plans? It was a very, very immediate, morbid, not having many ideas of what to do because, I mean, here it is out of nowhere. It affects my vision. It affects my ability to move my fingers. It did crazy things. So it was a low moment in life. Something that was pretty rough for me. So what do you do in those moments? You get these things in your head. What do you do in those moments? Do I wallow in that forever and not do anything, inaction? So there definitely was a period of just learning, getting more information, trying to understand what was going on first. I mean, and also there was some corrective things I had to do to get my dexterity back. So I have my dexterity back. My vision isn't doubled anymore. So we can retrain our brains. We can retrain our bodies. This autoimmune doesn't have to affect us. Never give up. Yeah, heck yeah. Never give up, right? Yeah. Because why give up? Number one, that's the easy way out. But two, let's take a moment and learn some things from these things that happen. Because, man, this happened because of why? Because I was stressed. Like autoimmune diseases in general in your body is a function of things you eat and stress in your life. Stress. It manifests as disease. So here it was. I'm completely stressed out because, man, that year I had a university in person teaching people how to burr mostly properties. I was buying a property a week. I was analyzing tons of portfolios to buy those, structure them, sell them. I was buying a multifamily building for the first time. I was writing a whole heck of a lot. I remember writing on my board, and it was just this spiral of every single thing that I ever wanted to do in real estate. I'm like, all right, I'm 5 years in or whatever. Why am I waiting any longer? I just want to do everything all at once. So I started to do everything. I had a big team, and I was stressed out. Working late, stressed out. And that's where I don't want you guys to get, is we're just completely stressed out, where you don't have that focus, because it can manifest in your body as disease. Well, thank you, Valentina. Absolutely. Yeah. And crazy thing is, yeah, I mean, I'm doing perfectly fine right now. Nothing has ended up changing. Fast forward to the end of the story, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. But yeah, it's cool, because sometimes it just takes these moments in your life for you to actually take the action, to do the thing that you've always wanted to do. It takes these moments for you to have that smack on your head, so that you'll be like, okay, no more. Now is the time that I'm going to do it. I don't care if it's not perfect. I'm just going to do it, right? Surround yourself with those people that can do it. But yeah, so things are great now. Things are awesome. And it's a lot of you, you'll probably see me as this happy guy that's always positive, that's always looking for the bright side of things, that's very helpful, energetic out into the world. And that is me. That is me. Absolutely, that's me. That was pretty much me before that. I've always been on this path. I remember in high school, I'd always walk around with a big smile on my face, and I'd have some people that are just like, why are you smiling the whole time? And I'm like, a little confused, of course, as we all are as teenagers. And it's like, well, why aren't you smiling? Like, why, what's so going on, that you can't put a smile on your face and light up people around you? So I've always been a positive, happy person in that regard, a smiley from my parents and my upbringing. But even more so, let's figure out how many ways we can be this from the inside, being happy, and push that out to others that are around us. Because yeah, stress is not something that we want in our lives. So let me give you a fun tool to make your lives awesome and less stressful. Get more done. How about that? So there should be a link. There should be a link in this live stream where I dropped a tool of mine, and I'll try putting it in the comments again here. There, it should be coming to you guys. But this is something that I've created and I've evolved over the years. It's something that it allows you to just start your day with happiness, energy. It makes it so that you're super focused on what you're trying to achieve, your goal, your things, so that you don't do BS tasks. So it getting rid of to-do lists completely and use this thing instead. You should have a matrix. But it's helping to take care of your needs and your desires, starting your day with happiness, ending your day with happiness, so that you can not only just reach your awesome goals, but you can have an awesome, happy life while doing it. That's what I want to give you guys. I want to give you this secret tool that I have, that I've created, because it's been a process. So I'll share this, because if you guys don't know a priority matrix, if you guys have just to-do lists, let me stop you. Let me stop you right there, because this will change your mind with all of that. So this here, if I can find my mouse on all these screens. So this here is something that I sketched out a long time ago when I was feeling all down and trying to deal with the woes of entrepreneurship. It's a priority matrix. So the idea is that you put everything you do in this priority matrix. And what it is there's a column, one column where you should do these tasks now. So this column is for tasks that you got to do now. This column is for tasks that you can do them later. You don't have to do them right now. So this gives you a sense of urgency. Do now, do later. And then this horizontal cross is for items that are critical, absolutely critical for your business. Has to get done, needs to get done. Absolutely. We can't put this off. Paying taxes, getting, if you need to buy a property, anything associated with that to actually do those things. Non-critical items go down here. So if something's not critical, then it's like, all right, you filing the paperwork for the properties. Yeah, it's got to get done, but it doesn't have to be done so critically, right? So everything that you're looking to do, you can put it in one of these 4 quadrants. So if you've got to do it now and it's super critical, that ends up over here. If you can do it later, but it's still critical, like, oh, it's not tax time yet, we can put it over here, right? We don't have to hit it today or this week, whatever the thing is. And if it's something you got to do now, but it's not critical, like maybe you've got to, eat as simple as eating or make dinner or do the laundry, or that could probably be non-critical and do later. But everything will end up in a box because of that. So it end up in one of these boxes, and your focus should be on the top left portion of that box. So just doing little to-do things, that isn't going to help you with some of these other areas. And I'll give you some of the secrets. So this is what I first started out. This is my idea. I'm sketching this thing out. I've got daily things that I want to do, future ideas, my to-dos, some recurring tasks, end up turning into this. End up turning into a priority matrix where I've got the matrix on there, and these are the ones that you should do immediately. These you do soon. By the way, this whole box says delegate. Anything in here to do now that's not crucial, delegate it to someone else to do whenever possible, because it doesn't push you along your paths. But this is something that I used for a while. I had my affirmations on it. I had what I would do in the morning, what I would do throughout the day. It would help me out. And I would have notes on the back of it. So I want to show you this for just a quick hot minute, because this is literally, these are all the ones that I used to have and I used to do. I used this thing for years. I'd have it in black and white. I'd print it in color. I made it green because I liked green. Remind me of the outside, right? So I'd always know where this sheet was in whatever I was doing. And it helped me super organize myself and prioritize things that I'm working on. But then I ended up having MS happen. And I'm like, okay, we need to really up this again. We need to change things even again. So I went through and I took what it was. I went through and I started sketching some things on it, everything I've learned after a couple years of developing what I was doing. And I ended up coming up with this document here. This document is my daily manifesting matrix. I'm going to pull this up so it can be a little bit larger for you guys. Zoom in. So a daily manifesting matrix. This is something that I've got every day. I put a weekly focus on the top of this. Oh man, that thing finds that window. This is the fun of failing. All right, here we go. It's all right. We'll get this all figured out. Let me share just this screen. That should be it. Okay. So sharing that. This is my current matrix that I use. And if you click on that link, you can get this for yourself. It'll come right to your email box. This is something that has changed my life. This is not only do I put a weekly focus on here, so I can say, okay, I'm going to network this week if I'm going somewhere. I'm going to buy a property. I'm going to whatever your thing is, focus on that for a week. You'd be surprised what type of results you'll end up getting. And then we've got our priority matrix built right in here. I write things on this every day. I use this daily. And it's a constant reminder that if I'm operating in these types of spaces, oh man, for one, this one I should be delegating out. This one, I'm like, why am I not doing the most important, crucial things right now? Do the urgent ones first, urgent, like, this is real hot, and then do the super important ones next, but work in this quadrant. This one happens to be mine that I had filled out because it's got my parents and helping others on there. Yours will end up coming to you blank with just a couple things on it, just so that it's a framework so that you can put whatever you want in here. But this is one that I would have where I would wake up, I'd keep track of my time. But then little things that I would do in the morning, I could just check them off. It felt so much better to check things off because then I felt like I was getting some things accomplished. When I was on my darkest days, when I didn't even want to just get out of bed, sometimes I would just put on there, brush my teeth, right? It's the first thing. It's like, I get to check that off. But then we evolve and we get a little bit better. So all of these can be used to help you in the future as you grow too. What do you guys have as a morning routine that you end up doing? This is one that I had from actually a while ago, whenever I ended up typing this all up. So I've even evolved mine since this day. Like it's in black and white because I just printed on my printer, but this is literally mine from this week that I end up using on here. And in here, I end up doing little things like gratitude journaling, morning affirmations, put some different affirmations in there because energy before action, we talked about that. Write down some things you're grateful for. My gosh, it's going to set your morning up for just a wonderful, happy time. You put things on there that you're grateful for. You give some affirmations for yourself. Ooh. And then you're starting your day out right. Maybe you just do a real quick workout. Maybe you just do some push-ups, little yoga. Maybe you whatever it is. But I put little self-care things that think about yourself. What would you like to do to make yourself feel better throughout the day? For me, it's walk. It's going in nature. It's working out. It's running, meditating a little bit. Even spending time with my family in the middle of the day, because guess what? We can put that on there. But in my happy night, I also plan out my night. I've got certain tasks that I do in my end of the day. I like to write 3 wins from the day. Be grateful for yourselves. Be grateful, right? Write some of those wins down. And then you'll notice that you're getting tons of wins. And then put the things that you want to do at night, spending quality time, a little bit of this and of that. And then I even have some nighttime affirmations that I'll tell myself. I'll write some things down. Like, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. Let me take this off the screen. But like, this is literally my week, writing things in, doing all of these things. I use this. To-do lists are just so easy for us to feel like we're accomplishing something, really pushing the needle. But are we really pushing the needle, or are we just accomplishing things that doesn't get us where we want to go? But man, writing down what I'm grateful for in the morning, that just sets your mind up for such a happy day. Once you're in that grateful mode, roll right into some affirmations, some really cool things that we can do. Like, I'm the master of my thoughts. I control my thoughts. I say that to myself because guess what? We are. Our mind is so darn powerful. So at least I'm owning that. I'm taking that back. So I am the master of my thoughts for everything that I want to do. I write that I'm open and willing to attract all that I desire. I accomplish any task I put my mind to with comfort and ease. I buy real estate with ease and make money when I buy real estate. Because guess what? I do. I make money. There's so many people that are thinking that they need to wholesale to make money and then they can go and they can buy some properties. No, I buy properties and make money at the same time. And versus or. I don't like to say or, I like to say and. So whenever I hear myself saying or, people around me, I'm just like, ooh, probably not. That's probably not the ultimate truth. It's probably could be an and. So let's do all those things. So this tool here, this has changed my life And on the back of it, I put a couple other things for you guys. Just if you have never considered time blocking for your day, that's a whole activity that you can play so that you work in chunks and you work smart. You don't work erratically. But you can just use it as notes otherwise, because everyone's got notes that they need throughout the day. And I'm a draw it out, diagram it type of person. Just like to have some organization in my life. So I will sketch some things out, some future ideas. Mine, let me tell you what's on my future idea thing for this week. And it's me sketching out my offers that I'm going to make on a whole bunch of real estate. My offers on a bunch of land. Oh yeah, I'm going to give them a 50% of their asking price cash offer so that I can really push down what they want for the land. Then I'm going to give them a 60%, 10% down seller financing offer. And I'm going to explain why. I've got a whole list of bad aspects of the property, this land. So I'm going to use that to really drive down their price. But I've also figured out where I want to go, where I want to land, how much the most I want to pay for it, but most importantly, how little I want to have out of pocket. I'd like to land with no money down on this, interest only payments with an option to extend those. And so I just start sketching ideas, and this is my scratch pad. And so this thing comes with me everywhere that I'm going. I can't ignore the things that I have to get done, and I can see them. Yep. Oh, yep. Look at that. I can cross one more thing off of that. And I really only get a lot of joy of crossing off things on that upper left column, because those are the ones that are most crucial to your business. Those are the ones that are most crucial to whatever your focus is. Your focus might just be getting you moving along in life to that next step, right? It might just be right there, but you might be real tangibly like, I want my first deal. All right, your first deal. Let's write on here, what are the things you need to get your first deal? And probably what you put on there, if you're not in my group, you're going to think that it's a whole heck of a lot of things you need to learn, you need to do. It's not. It's not. What do you need to get your first deal? A deal. That's it. You don't need a property. You don't need a seller. You need a deal. What are you going to do with that deal? I don't know. You can do everything with that deal. You can sell it. You can buy it. You can get someone else to pay for it, and you can own it. There's so many things you can do with a deal. But whatever it is your goal is, focus on it, and you can get those things done. So this is this fun tool that I love using. It helps me out in everything, just really my daily tasks, keeping focused on the week, focused on the day, prioritizing everything, starting my day off with a happy morning, infusing purpose, energy, gratitude throughout my whole day. It's purpose. And I know the things that I like to do. So I'm just like, sometimes I have to be reminded of things to do. You ever feel like you got to be reminded of what it is to eat? Like what you can make to eat? Like you go out to a restaurant and they give you that nice whole menu, but then when you go back home, you're like, oh man, there's nothing to make to eat. Well, there probably is. You're just not reminded. You're like, oh, I forgot I need to do that. I forgot. Our brains aren't meant for memory. They're not meant for memorizing or remembering anything. That's not what they're meant for. Our brains are made for processing information. They're really good at processing information. Remembering things, it could be, it could fall to the wayside. That's one of the things I always tell my wife, at least. And some people are much better at remembering things than others. But at the same time, when we have so many things to remember that we need to know in life, like I was an engineer, so yeah, so many things to know in life, we can't remember them all. We have lookup tables. We have this spot that we go and we find this piece of information, constants for physics equations. We don't memorize them all. We look them up. Like things with your properties, you look them up in a database. You look them up online. You don't need to know all of those things. Some things are handy if you're using them all the time, and you might just happen to remember them because you're using them all the time. But the brain is meant for processing. So set it up for processing. I love this sheet because I can just boom, 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 go right down this thing, and I'm just processing. I don't have to remember anything. And in fact, I try not to remember things because then our brain is free of that clutter of that thing. I just want to get that down on a piece of paper so that someone can do that. And I say someone because if I'm delegating, if it's in that bottom left corner, I'm definitely sending that off to my virtual assistant or someone else on my team. So that's why it's really important. And if you're not used to delegating, it's an easy way for you to identify tasks that you shouldn't be working on. Yes, you could do them. Yes, you might feel good about scratching that off. But after using this, I'm going to teach you to feel bad about doing those ones in the delegation box, because that's not going to get you to your next step. That's not going to help you evolve. That's really not going to push the limit of what you're trying to do. And by the way, on this whole list, you realize there's 4 boxes, and one of them is do immediately, do soon, delegate. And if something ends up over here, I say delete it or move. Why? Why do I say that? Because if whatever you're trying to put in here, if it's not crucial to your goal, and you can do it later, it's not crucial and you can do it later, do you really have to do that thing? Does that thing really have to be on your list? It says delete or move because either get it off of there or move it. It's either got to be something that you have to do now, so it's going to move over this way, so you delegate it. Or if it ends up being crucial, well, then it moves over here. You can do it later and it's crucial. But if you've already identified it as something over here, this is an easy way to just take things off your plate. Like, these shouldn't be in your thoughts whatsoever. So sometimes I'll even just use this for other little notes, or like, ooh, I have to, put a list together for going to the grocery store. All right, I'll just put a list here. But it's a constant reminder that if this is a non-crucial task for you as a business owner, and you don't have to do it now, you can do it later, then get it out of there. What are you doing? You don't need this thing in your life. So really fun. And then I could take some people through some exercises. I'm going to release some videos for all of this just to quickly talk you through. All right, what are some things you could put on your morning? What are some things that I've thought about? What are some things that you've thought about? But I love helpful books. I've always enjoyed them. Self-help books, any ideas that help us just really change the way that we think, change our mindset. What are some awesome morning routines that they have? And I'm like, oh, let me try that out. What are some great affirmations? Monique and I have worked with lots of this in our energetic and mindset series that we did all of last year while she was pregnant. We were going live the whole year, helping people with their mindset. And some of them were affirmations and things that you do to end your day right. Just look at even at the end of this whole thing. So this line item right here, I don't even let you have a choice of whether it's included or not. I include these. This first one, waking up time, because it's curious to know when you wake up. I'm not a morning person. I would rather stay up till 2 a.m. than wake up at 5. That's just me, and I'm cool with that. But at night, this thing here, what am I looking forward to tomorrow? Writing that in there, thinking about that, telling yourself, that's a cool mind hack. Do you guys know? Oh my gosh. Like, you ever have something that you stress out about? You're like, oh, this thing is coming up. Oh, it's like, oh, I've been putting this thing off forever and forever. It's like, oh, it's really coming on tomorrow. I really got to do it tomorrow. Instead of taking all that energy of, I've got to do this. I've got to, it's this weight of that thing. It's, I'm going to have to do that tomorrow. What if you could turn yourselves around? What if you could all of a sudden be excited about it? What if you could trick your mind to be excited about it? And so just say right on there, I'm looking forward to scratching this thing off my list tomorrow, giving this presentation. You might be worried about it, but just turn any of these worries into excitement. Like, I'm looking forward to this tomorrow. So write it down. You can kinesthetically teach your mind. I'm writing it down. And then you can also say it to yourself. I'm looking forward to this tomorrow. And it might even just be like, I'm looking forward to hanging out with my kid tomorrow. It might be I'm looking forward to something you're truly, truly excited and looking forward to, going to a water park together tomorrow, whatever that is, on a Saturday, whatever that thing is. You just programming your mind at the end of the day is like awesomeness for your mind, because guess what? You go to sleep, your mind doesn't. The whole night, you're just going to be going and going and going and going. It's going to know what you said. It's going to know what you wrote. And guess what's going to happen? The next morning, you're going to wake up looking forward to that thing. And then you can eat the frog. You can swallow that frog. The notion of whatever that big thing is that you have to do for the day, you might have been putting it off for multiple days. I only use this as an example because I'm going to pick on me in this instance. It's me that will tend to do these things, put things off, and then worry about them. So it's a hack to get over that. So now I'm excited about it going to bed. I'm excited about it, empowered, waking up. And then I just go and I do that thing right away. I get that thing done right away. I swallow that frog for the day, and then everything else is easier that day because the hardest thing is already done. When I was feeling fresh, when I was feeling great from the night before, my mind the whole night's like, oh yeah, you really are looking forward to this. So since it knows that you're looking forward to it, your mind is already working on it. It's working for you. That's the crazy thing. And so there's so many awesome little tidbits within this, so many little great affirmations to give you guys, so many wonderful morning routines that you can choose from. And it's not to say that you should do all of these things all at once, because that could be intense. Like that's just real crazy. But to start a new habit, to do everything, maybe you want to, because maybe you're that type of person. So I don't want to discourage that, but I just want to say that why don't we just offer the possibility that you start to use the priority matrix on the top? You just start that first and maybe add one or two things in the morning, maybe one saying, maybe even not. Like, let's wait till week 2 to add something new for affirmations. Cause like, oh man, I'm going to have to think about what I want to put on there and blah, 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 blah. The engineer in me is going to want to think through all of those things. And I'm going to say, you don't have to do that. Right. But so just start little steps, start using this, integrating this into your life, and you'll end up having a much better life. You'll end up being much more focused. You're going to include gratitude. You're going to include all the different things that you want to do. And I'm just reminded of them. Like, I don't have to think in the morning. I'm like, oh yeah, set up my sun lamp so that I can get some sun, because here in Ohio, it's really, really dark and I don't get to go outside as much. So I get to sit by the sun for 15 minutes as I'm drinking my water, 16 ounces of water right away. I have protein coffee that I just mix protein in with my coffee as opposed to creamer. So it's frothy and it's delicious, and it has 26 grams of protein. Wow. Thank you, body. Doing a couple little push-ups. I do this 1x5, or I'll do some push-ups and some squats and some lunges and some plank hold, just enough to get a little dewy sweat, just enough so that my body is wakening up my mind. So when my mind wakes up, then I'm like, okay, now I can cool down a little, do a little gratitude journaling, say, oh, wow, I'm so thankful for my little son, my wife, my parents, like go on and on and on. If you can't think of things to be grateful for, just look down at yourself and look at how you're breathing and look around you. Just, man, you could just write forever about gratitude, right? And then I roll into affirmations, do some other things, get some breakfast, and then now I'm good to go for working, and I'm great, and I'm primed. I'm primed for this. That's how you hack your mind. To hack your success, it all starts with your mind. And that's why I'm live 3 other days of the week in my group teaching people real estate. But right now, Mindset Monday, this is so important. This is super critical. If you skip things with your mind, it doesn't matter everything that you strive to do. It does not matter. Your mind is the most important thing, because remember, if you think you can or you can't in life, you're right. You're absolutely right. And we're always striving to do more. So keep breaking through all these things that are holding us back. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. People digging. Yep. Yep. I like it. I like it. Yes, yes, yes. So that's really it, guys. If you want a little bit more mindset in your life, then enter into my world. Come into my world. Come into my wife's world. You know, hers is all energy, energetic alignment that's around us. That's what we seek, alignment with our energy and that around us so that things are just easy, easy button style, easy, right? So grab this free resource that I gave you. There's a link that should be in these comments, should be maybe even in the live stream description itself. Go check it out. I will later. If it's not, I'll pop one in there. But yeah, join my group. Let's do some real estate together. Because my easy way of finding properties in this world is all of you. I'd rather teach all of you how to find properties and then just bring them to me. That's easiest. That's really easiest. I can build an automation machine and I can have VAs and I can do all that, but it's really not fun. It doesn't excite me because my why is helping others in this world. And honestly, that's so much easier. It's so much easier for me to just help you all attract deals to me. Then we can have something to be like, oh, look, here's a deal. Here's how it's a good deal. Zach's going to show us exactly how he's going to buy it without any of his money. And he's going to make money when he buys it. He makes money when he buys property. That's the craziest thing that I loved learning. And that's the thing that I love teaching other people the most, is that you can make money when you buy property. So let me set you guys up for that type of success so that when you're attracting deals towards me, we can analyze them so that you can be like, okay, maybe one of these ones in the future that I'm handing off to Zach because he just wants to eat up tons of deals because he needs to spend his private money lender's money. So Zach's really hungry for deals. Maybe I can end up just taking one of those deals in the future for myself. But what's a good deal for me, you might ask? What's a good deal for you? That's one of the first things we'll find out. What's your buy box? Where are you trying to go? What are you trying to achieve? Okay, now that we know we want to get there, we're going to start you here and we're going to get you along your path to get there. But when you're here, you've got to figure out some basic things like, where's my buy box? What do I want to buy? Whether it's for someone else or for me, what do I want to buy? And then we can get there. And then we can get there. So why not align yourselves with my buy box? You can start to look how I'm analyzing things. And then you're going to understand, okay, that's how it can relate to me. Now I can start to buy a property for my first property. How many ways can you end up funding that? It's going to be super fun, right? Real estate investing to me is super, super fun. Mindset stuff is super fun because it's so empowering. And if we affect our mind, we affect everything we end up doing. It's not just our real estate. That's why 0 to Infinity is all about your mind, your body, and your bank account. They're holistically together. You need them. You can't sacrifice one without the other. Without the mind, you're going to be all messed up. You're not going to be able to do things in life. Without your mind, you're going to think, I can't do these things. Without your bank account, of course, money is going to make it a little bit harder. You can still do things, but we're all about making our bank account bigger. Why do I also include body in this group that I'm trying to do, this 0 to Infinity group that I'm doing, I'm loving? Why do I include body in there? Because like mine, without your body, you can't do any of these things. Without your body, you're gonzo. So don't neglect your body. You can work yourself so hard and, you could have the strongest mindset, but if you're not affecting your body in a positive way, your body is going to degrade. It can get to the point where you're super stressed out, where you can have disease manifest in you. That's this trigger, like I did, that said, yo, cut this out. Stop this thing. You gotta change what you're doing. Right. And luckily I was able to change quickly enough. And then I'm always focused on this. And I'm keeping a positive, happy energy mindset into everything that I do, because that's what we feel. We feel that inside. It affects everything else. So that's why 0 to Infinity. I'm going to take you guys from wherever you are. You might not feel that you're in zeros. That's okay. You feel a little above that. That's fine. I want to be able to take people from 0 You feel like maybe you're below zero? That's cool. We're going to round you up to zero, right? From zero to infinity. We can do any of these things that we want in life. And I'm going to help us get there. I'm going to help you all get there. I'm super excited about it. So thank you so much for your time today, your love, your energy. I appreciate you. You are the reason I do what I do in this world. So please, if you like it, smash a little love, smash a little heart, something, download the Matrix, and I'll see you guys in my group. Or maybe you'll be one of my private money lenders, or maybe both. Right on. Have a great week, you guys. Go kill it.